So I'm calling the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Commission of City Plan, Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. We have done a roll call and we have a quorum. I'd like, if we can, to have a motion for approval of the November 15th minutes.
I'll make a motion.
All right, so Ella's made a motion to approve the minutes. Kathy?
Oh, I'll second it.
Second. Those are seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So the minutes for the November 15th meeting are approved. Dan, do you know if we have any communications? I see none on the agenda.
We don't have anything tonight.
We have no old business on the agenda. New business is regarding a public hearing and potential action on the following application. It's a special permit number 22-04 and a coastal CAM application 22-02 for 23 Thermos Avenue. It's a request for a special permit for a proposed high-rise multifamily development consisting of two 4-story buildings with 26 units each, including lower-level parking garages, a community center with meeting pool and attached garages, and other site improvements, including drainage, parking lots, sidewalks, landscape, and lighting. It's the application of CLA Engineers, Inc., property of River Heights Development, Inc., Assessor's Map 125, Block 1, Lot 1. There's almost multifamily CAM overlay. So with that being said, I have a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion made by Kathy Ruzicka to open the public hearing. Can we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ella Miles. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the public hearing is open. Dan or Deanna?
We have CLA here to present for the applicant.
Okay.
So,
Do you have anything you want to say before the applicant?
well, we did not receive any additional boards that they were going to present tonight. So I'm going to ask that you kind of hold them up to the camera so the
Okay.
public online could see.
They just hold it up facing here.
Yeah, so you'll kind of have to present it to them,
Sure.
you're going to have to move them around a little bit so
Okay.
everyone can see.
This
So-
may be repetitive.
And just for the
Some of
record, you,
stuff We already. that Tom would present.
All right, so
Sure.
somebody here,
I'll be glad to hold it.
Yeah. and when you speak, you need to state your name.
somebody here to speak for the applicant. Could you,
Michael Franklin,
Michael Franklin, on behalf of the applicant.
River Heights Development Inc.
Okay, so if you want to make the presentation.
I'll start. I'll start. I'm
Oh,
coming,
okay.
so
And Tom, you-
engineers,
All right,
Oh.
wasn't sure where we were going with it.
yes.
All right.
Where's the camera? Where?
Right here.
Right
It's
there.
facing Frank
It's
and
right
Over
Kathy.
here, you're gonna have to
Yes.
kind of come short.
Oh, it's too bad. It's gonna be hard for Ellie to see that.
This front sheet just shows that there was an existing site development plan, 989. It was the phase 3 part was done in 2009.
Hey, excuse me, can I interrupt for just a moment? Dan, can you stop sharing? That might help Ella and I view. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Is that better?
It is. Thank you so much.
All right.
And the point of the board is that these units at the bottom are the existing villa units as they exist. And then along Thermos Avenue, we're a whole row of units. And the bottom 6 were completed and 4 are now occupied and 2 are being renovated for occupancy soon. And then there's a series of foundations, 8 foundations behind, concrete foundations. I don't know if anybody's been up there, but these are foundations. And then the other 4 rows up here were never constructed. In fact, the land, I guess you'd call it, would be disturbed. It is, vegetation's been all gone, stuff has come in, out. But this, and it rises, the land rises quickly with Thermos Avenue
Okay.
up to the top, but since this was done, the condominium units, the villas have been subdivided and cut, and that was done some months ago as a subdivision before this board.
It was legally formalized.
Yeah, legally
Beginning in
formalized.
July this year,
Yeah, in July.
where we withdrew the 4.2 acres from the condominiums.
So the front half is not part of this.
The
application.
the existing, yes, the
Okay.
part that's toward the
There's
Laurel
one
Hill.
else, so Catherine, I can check.
Yes.
Well, this is. Okay, so,
Our proposal, we withdrew this, which was 4.2 acres
okay,
from this here.
okay,
This is totally zoning compliant.
and that
That's
is
all
already
built.
constructed.
It's built and
Okay.
completed and everything.
And this one had a few completed.
There was a
And then-
building stand
Okay,
and a foundation. in
foundation,
place
okay.
With infrastructure and landscaping and stuff.
Uh-huh,
And that's all part of this whole thing.
okay,
We're completing these now, should be completed first quarter of 2023. There's 4 units occupied, a 5th soon, and the 6th one is gonna be.
So those are already approved and,
They're approved under the old permits. We're constructing them under the old.
so
permits.
this, what we're here tonight for are these two.
Well, actually,
actually-
no, but keep in mind, we're gonna show you a plan that shows what we're doing. This was what was approved originally,
okay,
which, as you can see, you have roofs and roads,
Mhm.
roofs and roads, roofs and roads, roofs, roads, and roads.
so,
So that this site was very much filled with roofs and pavement.
okay,
And we've consolidated the infrastructure dramatically with our new plan. So that it has much less impact on water runoff, filtration into the river, and all of that.
So this is the old stuff.
and that's.
Yeah,
what
we
we're
did
gonna
it.
do. Okay.
And we wanted to see, we wanted you to see what we had.
Mhm.
And this is what's being proposed.
Okay, do we have that right now on our set of plans?
You should.
Is that-
but there it is. You should
Okay,
have
it's
8
this right
sheets.
here, so
There you go.
I want. the-
Similar to this?
So when you're calling something up, can you let us know if we have it already so the public can see it better? Because
Yeah.
they can't see you holding it. So you don't have to show the boards if we have them on the screen for the
Okay.
public.
The proposal now, is that on the present site, the 6 units, which,
So they can see.
at the right end, or the, north end of the drawing. And they're not colored, they're just, shown in those 6 units right there. And
Those are built.
Those are built and 4 are occupied and 2 will be occupied very soon, very soon. The building just to the left, that are the foundations that exist out there now. There's a number of concrete foundations and just concrete foundations. What the proposal is to put a community center over those foundations, use those as a foundation for a community center and with a deck and a pool.
So that's the gray area,
The
the light gray area
the
next to.
walls are like
That's
brown.
parking.
Yeah, kind of.
No, so the brown is the,
This
oh,
is the-
that's the
that's-
community
that's the
center,
community
okay, okay,
This is
This is the pool.
okay, got it, okay.
Parking serving that.
And then,
All right, cool,
Okay, you can't ask
Right.
questions, ma'am. We're in a public hearing right now. We'll have that you talk at a later point in the meeting.
and so those units will be, community center and the garages, will be underneath. They'll be left, for rental, garages. And there's a small parking area, to service the community center, right there. And then instead of the rows of buildings, what's being proposed are 2 high-rise buildings. And there's also a house existing at the far, at the north end, a single-family home there that's going to be raised. And then the site is being done in 2 phases. The first phase is that middle building and the community center. That's part, that's of the first phase. And the proposed, you can see the dash line through the site plan. The upper building is part of phase two.
So there's, how many units are in each of those buildings?
26.
26 units in each building.
Yes, 26 to 25.
So that, we need clarification on that because actually the
Well,
site
that's-
plan shows, the site, hold on one second. The
Yeah.
site plan shows 57, I think.
Right,
And you originally told me 26 and 26, so what legal notice actually said 52.
Oh,
But we actually re-advertised it to be correct, but the letters that they went out, it said 26 in each unit, because that's what you
Yeah.
said. So I just want you to know, when we reviewed the site plan
Yeah.
is different from the one, we only got one building set of plans. So we don't have the difference in what the units are. So if you look at one set of plans, you would just assume that they're exactly the same, but they're not. So we have not received a second set of plans for the other building, for the floor plans
for the 25.
Well,
or more.
they're identical in size?
Yeah, but they're not identical floor plans.
Correct,
We need those.
okay. For that one floor, because on the first floor.
We need all of them. We need, don't just give us one floor. We need a building plan set for one building and a building sound set for the other one. So we need to know what's,
I think the issue is that we have to see what we're gonna approve.
Right.
We can't approve something and then have it be something
Be
else.
something different.
yes.
Yes.
So there's 57, according to the site plan, there's 57
57.
units.
And that's what's so.
57, so how? and that
It's a
makes
weird mix. It's not an even
50.
mix.
4 and 53, or
No, no.
24 and 23.
25 to 26, and then,
And it counts as
and that's 51, and then
Okay.
the 6 units down below that we already have is 57.
okay.
they're all on the same site. Even though those are, you know, have been built, it's the same, same 4.2 acre site. Is what we're, you know, what we're looking at.
I think we're confused about, at least for staff, is in the two new buildings. We have a total on the site plan, it says 57 units. Is that 57 units in the two new buildings? We never got a narrative on the application. So we don't know exactly what you're doing. It didn't break it down.
There's 6 units existing.
Yeah, we're not counting those because those are already
But I
existing.
mean, in the entire package, it was 57, so you have 6 units.
You're talking about the ones on the right and the
Yes.
white?
These,
Yes.
Yes.
And then you
So
have
what we're
25
concerned
units.
Because they're already
25.
existing.
25 units and 26 units, which would be 51, so the total is 57.
Yeah, they're all on the same parcel.
All
Yeah,
on
but
the
those are already built, so you're not doing anything to those. You're not making any new improvements to those
Yeah,
buildings.
we're not,
No,
we're not acting on anything to do with those buildings.
right,
We just need to act on the 2 new buildings.
in the
that-
community center,
On the community center.
yes.
so just to be clear, and we'll go over this later, we need this to be called building 1, building 2, building A, building B, and we need full floor plan sets for each building. Because the package that was submitted, we don't have that. We only have one building. We don't know which building it is. And the elevation views and everything was cut off the way the copies were ran. So we don't have a full set that was submitted.
So are we able to act on this
No,
without the full plan?
No. we're,
Okay.
we're asking this to be, we open the public hearing so the public could be here tonight and make comments if they're coming. But we have sufficient, significant comments that haven't been addressed, that need to be addressed before the completion of the public hearing.
Well, I have a question. So did we receive, this is a special exception or a special?
Special permit, yeah.
Special permit.
Yep.
Did we receive a special permit application that gave a narrative?
The narrative was not that was one of the questions, that's one of the comments of Dan, we never got a
How
narrative.
does it comply with the special permit requirements?
Well,
We have
We
those
got
questions
those.
answered, but we don't have, typically we get a narrative saying this project is going to develop X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
With this
This
number of
many
units
units.
and this, that.
okay.
so we got, what it said for the narrative was the breakdown of what those special permit criteria is.
But
They-
didn't give a description of the project.
Yeah,
Okay,
Correct.
Yeah.
all right, all right.
So we need that, we need proper floor plans for the 2 buildings that are being proposed.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Oh, well, Dan.
I'll go through my memo after. There-
Well, does
there's
it
a-
make sense to go through all this stuff if we're gonna,
Well,
we still need all this information?
And keeping in mind that whoever is, we should try to keep this to a minimum because we have to have the same people and we have a really small commission. Same
When's our
people.
meeting next month?
I think it's January 17th. Is that what the date is?
I believe so.
So if the same people aren't here, the people who are here have to listen to the recording.
Mhm.
The 17th.
So, but, you know,
Will be available next month on the 17th?
I'm sure I am. I mean, wait a minute, is.
Ella,
provided
what
that's-
about you? Do you know if you're available next month on the 17th, January?
Yes, I should be available.
our regular calendar. meeting
Right, as
date.
long as it's our regular calendar date, I
Yeah, I'm
should be
just-
too. As long as it's
I
not.
just,
yeah.
medical stuff scheduled for next month.
Well, so then,
Should be okay.
oh, okay,
So I think our comments from staff is that we wanted them to be able to give a little bit, start their presentation, but we know that there's things that have not been met. But with opening the public hearing, it gives the opportunity that they sent the letters out to the abutters so that they
Okay.
can have an opportunity to speak tonight
All
too.
right, so-
And they don't have to come back next month because it's a continued public hearing unless you wanted to make additional
all right,
comments.
so-
and maybe they
you
want
wanna go
to hear the rest of
And
the,
then, so you understand what the issue is and what the problem is, so we'll go forward with what we have tonight, but the matter's gonna be continued to January so that we can get the rest of the information out.
Understood.
Okay, so Tom, if you wanna go ahead then.
Well, yeah, and I was going to discuss there's parking requirements, the requirement is 72 spaces. 112 are provided on the site. Under each of the proposed new buildings, there's 20 parking spaces underneath the buildings.
Mhm.
So we could limit the number of surface spaces
Mhm.
out there, but each building has both underground and surface parking associated with both them, and then additional parking at the community center.
so is the building, is it gonna be
Sit up.
on piers or is
Yes,
it gonna be?
yes, it is.
closed?
No, the site is quite steep. And
Okay.
it is.
So the architectural.
Bottom floor is
Elevation.
going to be parking.
Okay.
We're gonna show the
It has to
elevation
do
view.
with the views.
Okay,
We're gonna
Okay.
show the elevation view right now.
Enclosed parking underneath? or is it
Yes.
Just open?
It's open
well,
there.
that's.
It's
what-
open here.
Open air.
Think
Okay.
of it as it's one grade, so it's open on 3 sides and the back side of it, it's graded up because of the topography that's there.
Mhm.
And those are the two buildings, and you can see it on the in the book.
Oh, I see
But,
it. Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
It's open.
Yeah.
And if they're both oriented to look straight down the Thames River, right toward downtown Norwich. I mean, they head right to Brown Park.
Mhm.
Both of them look straight down the river.
Now, will this be affordable housing? No,
It's market rate now.
no, okay.
We also on Thermos Avenue, that along the frontage is to be widened to along the frontage of the site. If from where you can see where the gray is areas, it's quite narrow and it's being widened for safety and for sight lines and in that curve. Just with the new driveways and everything, we just need to open it up so that people can see in the different directions. And right now, there's quite a bit of parking on Thermos Avenue because of the condition of the parking deck associated with the Thermos, whatever,
Mhm.
the Maltman's whole project.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
And Thermos Avenue has the entrance by the old Laurel Hill School, entrance and exit, and then also it feeds out into Route 12 across from Cumberland Farms, which is it's a very narrow intersection, but it is lighted. So that's its saving grace. The utilities are on the site. We're extending water to up Thermos Avenue to complete the system, but the sanitary, electric, all of that's going through utilities, and they're all available, considering the development of the whole area. So that there's, we've submitted a lighting plan. There's lighting along the at the driveways and in the buildings, but as developer asked that the lighting be kept down and muted, just because it fits the area. It's gone through CAM, it was submitted to CAM, they responded quite quickly.
The state.
The state, and it's just upland, developed uplands, and really had no CAM. It's just,
Yeah.
CAM line is it's at the far end of the coastal area management, as it is, and it's developed shoreline.
Right.
And, so it has, the drainage mimics what's been done on the existing development, and it's all collected and put underground and then metered out into the system from an underground system. The new units also have swirl separators to further improve the quality of stormwater. So the system has worked extremely well out there, and we mimicked it because it just hasn't had that kind of problems. We also added in the slide that was just there, in the E&S, we added a temporary sedimentation pond area within the green area between the building 1 and 2, and we'll probably leave that. It's only 1.5 feet deep, and it's just a depression, but it's there to during construction for sedimentation control. It's not a bad feature, and it certainly promotes infiltration of stormwater into the ground, and it's a very shallow. I don't even call it, can't call it a pond. It's really a depression in the ground.
Tom, is this all gravelly soil?
It's all kinds of stuff out there.
Oh, okay, so it's
It
all
was-
like just junk though.
You can't tell.
Yeah, okay.
We did some borings. It was all over the place. In
Mhm.
fact, the borings were a little better than, we did some borings up at the top, for construction. And, but the area is so disturbed.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
Know what's
Yeah,
there.
what's been there, what is
Yeah.
there. There's piles still left from, other construction, and there's definitely some rock.
There's no contamination there, is there?
No, I didn't, no.
No.
There was an environmental study done, initially, and there was no contamination.
The landscaping, we put some landscaping for the parking, and, but it's, we left a lot of it grass. And we don't want to plant, large trees because one of the features of both the buildings are the views down the river. And it really is, it's more keep it, open area with some landscaping, at the parking lots just to keep the parking lots behind. But it really, not looking to put in any large trees, just because we don't want to take away from the views on there. And that's about it. it's certainly a big change from what is now been approved, and I think it's a real good change. Michael, you
Revelation
wanna-
view, the revelation view of the building, that's. Another color one with the, look at that one. We're gonna show that one on the screen.
Yeah, you may have most of these boards. I think we sent in the architectural for the building. and
This
as
right there,
well
we're
as
calling it up right now.
Perspective drawing. Yeah, I mean, if you could go back to that first page that you had there. That shows the lower level, there you go. I mean, so basically what we did was, we were very conscious of the site when we were doing the designs and stuff. One, the topography we were dealing with, I think we have an 80-foot rise from the lower building all the way up to the top. So we designed buildings that would be kind of placed in and step up the hill to, capitalize on the views and the orientation and that type of thing. But I think the important thing is, on this here, this is the parking area below, which is 3/4 open air. And then on the south side is where you're entering grade up at the first level. So it's all handicap accessible, 100%. You have an elevator that serves the building. You'll have emergency stairways, as you see the floor plans on both sides. But really, anybody could live here from 20 years old to 90 years old because of the accessibility. All of the units, 100% of the units would be all flats. So when you get to your level, then you get to your apartment and there's no stairways in the apartments.
What's the mix of bedroom?
We have, the mix are about 50-50, but we have one bedrooms with offices, which we talked about, at one of the team meetings, exactly how to handle them and stuff, so they're appropriate. And 2-bedroom units. So it's just, and they range from about 800 square feet
Mhm.
to about 1,200 square feet. And the mix is pretty close to 50-50 from the ones and the twos.
So you said 1 bedroom with an office.
Some of them are 1-bedrooms exclusively, some are 1-bedrooms with an office, and then some are 2-bedrooms. But imagine that if you had,
What is the office smaller than a bedroom? That's what it's called.
yeah, it's also, we talked about, you can't have a door, you should have an open space, it could be segregated off and become part of a space just to comply with the building.
Or like a
regulations.
den that they can use as a home office, so it's
Oh.
not really a bedroom, so it doesn't
Okay.
have, like I said, a doorway, it has to have an arch or something.
All right.
But because of the reshaping of our workforce and
Mhm.
what we've encountered over the last, 3 years through the pandemic and stuff. 1-bedroom that has an extra space that could be used as an office is valuable to some people because they work at home. and
I
stuff.
was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, so that's, so the way we've designed it, and then there's 4 levels of housing above that. And there's a light obstruction code that you have within the regulations and stuff for buildings of this nature. And as you start to come up, the first 2 floors have 8 units each. The 3rd floor has 6 units, and then the top floor has 4 units, so that the building itself shrinks as you're coming up, giving us some intimacy to the site and also not blocking, creating a shadow effect to, areas around that and stuff. One thing that we did was the hills here, for both buildings. And we lifted and stepped back, lifted and stepped back at each level. And as we're stepping back, we're creating a full width terrace. So if the unit's 20 feet wide or something, it would have an 8-foot by 20-foot terrace. And that terrace, just points right at the river. So we're capitalizing on the site. We've created a design that fits, I think, well into the site because of the topography of the site. And it provides people with an outdoor space that I feel is generous. You know, have an indoor and outdoor space, give them a little extra square footage. You know, and then that was that what you're not for, yeah. And then this is the elevation that points up the river. So these are all terraces along the front. We even had units in the back, and we created a walkout and a little terrace here so that while their orientation isn't towards the river, we created a little deck area, and then the units that are on the side, there's decks coming off of those so that they actually come out and can see the river as well. And then it's only these units here that face to the south elevation that there's small terraces there for those residents as well. I mean, so we really, in our design and the aesthetics and stuff, we went for that combination of square footage and then outside square footage for everybody that's here. You
And
know,
what's
gets
the
a-
material of the outside?
It'll be like a clapboard shingle type material.
Vinyl or?
Most likely, yes, like a cedar impressions type of thing,
Mhm.
or clapboard, you know, design. And it would be soft and pleasing in colors, kind of a taupey color, you know, something that would blend well with the villas that are there that have 3 different color themes and the units that are there. There's like a mustard color, a yellow color, and one that has like a greenish gray color to them. You know, so it would be something that blends in well with the existing architecture that's there. And then, did you get anything on the amenity building? Architectural?
I don't know if we did digitally.
Oh, you don't know if we did digitally?
Mm-mm.
Well, I asked because I do have a set. You can see it.
Tell us what sheet it's on, that helps.
Did you see these?
We have a partial runoff paper copy of that, but I don't think we got it.
Shall I hold these up for people? to see?
Yeah, please.
So basically what you have, Tom, can you give me a picture?
I'll give you that.
So people on camera can see. Why don't you get that?
And then we want to show the public as well, that's here
And
too.
we'd like to see it too.
Yeah.
So that's why for next
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
everything that you're showing would be digitally as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we have is, this is the foundation that's in place now, the 8-unit foundation. One of the foundations is in the setback. So that's just going to be utilized just as an open parking area as agreed to with, you know, planning group. And then what you have is, this is an elevation that would be, the villas would see, or the buildings above would see, where you have the community center here, it's about 3,500 square feet. And then a deck area with a swimming pool and a kind of cabana area. This is very low, 1 story, you know, so it's not imposing at all. And, you know, access would be coming off of Thurman's to here. These are the 2 side elevations. One that points towards where the retaining walls are that we saw in the perspective elevation. And then the other side that is pointing towards Thermos, where the pool area and the deck is here. This here shows a floor plan of the amenity building, where this is just your deck area. And then this is this area here. There's that. Deck area, swimming pool. The 6-unit building is here. The other 2 big buildings are going up the hill on the backside. And what you have is kind of a common gathering room, rental office, an entry coming in where you have bathrooms on both sides, storage, kind of a board room, meeting room, a private space to have, meetings, and also a workout room, a gym on this side. It's something that what we did when we were working with the condominium association, because we had to come into an agreement with them when we withdrew the land and they got to see the designs and they participated in comments and stuff on what we were doing, that we were providing 1 year free membership for this to a condo association. And then also we have the the Thermos on the Thames condominiums that are right there. And it was the thinking of the developer, us as the developer, to open up this membership to just the residential communities that are right there. Yeah, so that's the amenity building. And I'm sorry, I didn't understand about the different plans because I looked at them as they were identical buildings as far as outside and floor plans and everything that's there. And we were just gonna have 25 units in one and 26 units in the other. So that we would probably end up with super office in one of the buildings, eliminating one of the units and maybe making them a little bit bigger space for one of the units that are adjacent. But the rest of the floor plans, with the exception of that one unit, when you come in off the first level, that would be reshaped, but the rest of the building would be identical in design and floor plans and structure and stuff as the building that we submitted.
Yeah, we understand, except
But
we
I'll-
approve something,
I
we
understand.
have to have the plans as they are gonna be.
I will submit the plans,
Sure.
before the next meeting, because it won't take Peter and I very much to redesign that.
Yeah.
Just submit it.
Yeah, it's just, if we approve something, then it's approved the way it
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah.
On the plans.
Understood. I mean, my bad that I wasn't here prepared for that, but they're gonna be from the exterior identical, from the square footage of the floor levels identical. Just that one area of one unit would be reconfigured and it would be more like a super's office,
Sure.
maintain the property and stuff.
And we're not concerned with the units that are built.
Right. the
Already.
six that are already there.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though.
They're on the parcel, but they
become
were
part of the
previously
parcel
approved
as far as the-
Yeah,
and
understood.
constructed.
And then
Those are already done.
one other thing that was asked at the, one of the team meetings, the last team meeting we were in, was what we were gonna do for signage and stuff. This is, if you could pull up that site map,
Sure.
or even better, the perspective drawing. The color one. that we
Mhm.
had. That shows the property and the map and stuff. There you go. So right now, what there is there's a sign that's right here on the property. There's a sign out on Route 12, which is right there. And that one has three entities on it. It has the integrated day school, it has the Thermos on the Thames condominiums, as well as ours. And then there's another sign on a little guard shack that's up here. And the intent is, this is the sign that's down where the stone is, where you can see right on there. And basically today it says the villas at River Heights, and the new project's gonna be called River View at River Heights. So it kind of ties in and it kind of labels it really well that you have the river views. And then a similar thing with the marquee sign, which is out here on Thermos Ave. This is what it is today. And this is what it will be afterwards. And then at the top of the entrance that comes in where the villas at River Heights, the condominiums enter. There's a little guard shack that's gonna be redone completely. And there's a sign on that, the villas at River Heights. And we're gonna provide very clear corner sign with markings, 19 Thermos Ave, arrow this direction, and whatever our addressing it will be for River View at River Heights. Having a directional sign going the other direction, so that people coming to visit the village of River Heights will have a distinct, clear marking to go this way. And people going to River View at River Heights, they would be pointed. So the villas would come down here, River View would come this way. Because there's only two entrances to these buildings right off at Thermos Ave.
We just ask that you submit those, if you can email
Excuse me?
those, email in the
I
signage
will.
examples too, please.
These, I have all of this digital, so. No, I'll email them to Deanna. She can disperse it there, and I'll get with Peter right away. In regards to the architectural plans, so we get you those right away. And I welcome any comments. I mean, if there's anything else we need to address, quickly. For the next meeting, so that we can. Move on.
Anything else from the applicant at this point?
I think we're good.
Okay. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak in favor at this point? Anybody else who wishes to speak in favor of the application at this point? Yes, sir. Could you identify yourself, please?
Robert Paul, President of the Association.
Can you spell his name too?
We work with Michael,
Could you please spell your name, sir?
CROW.
Thank you.
So we're in favor of the addition of the property because it's going to increase our values. And we've worked with them, for the past 2 years trying to get the buildings moved up as far up the hill as we could, which he did, and keep the level of the other buildings down, so we don't lose our view out of our condos at this point. So they really worked with us, and I feel it's going to be a good. It's going to raise our property value, so we're really happy with it. To get that lot cleared out and fixed.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? Hearing none, anybody wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, ma'am, could you please state your name and
Betty Lutz, Lutz.
And your address too.
403 and 407 Laurel Hill Avenue. I'm not here for the views because we lost our views. We can't even see fireworks. We lost our views when the last buildings were put in. I'm here because I want you to just think about going down Laurel Hill Avenue. You have Cumberland Farms. I'm directly across the street. Next door to Cumberland Farms is elderly housing. Okay. Now you come across the street of my house. I own the house on the corner. Next to that is JoJo's. Used to be Sunset Pizza. There is a light there. And you come around the corner. The first house you come to would be Hector and Lydia Riccofranco. And then you have a driveway right up to their house. It goes down to the condos that are there now. But just looking at the horseshoe of Thermos Avenue, we have apartment buildings behind JoJo's, a lot of them, a lot of apartment buildings there. We have the Thermos apartments going down the horseshoe. We have a school, which 2 of my grandchildren went through, all 8 grades, and they used to walk home. They can't do that now, or they're out of school now, but you couldn't do that now. And then you come around, you have these condos, and you're putting in more condos. I just want to make a point. It used to be, I've been in this house for 22 years. My daughter and my son lived in the house next door. And at that time when they lived there, they could use the driveway in front that went right into the garage. There is so much traffic. You can't use that driveway anymore. I had to put a driveway behind the house on the corner there because you just can't. I have a hard time getting out of my driveway. Sometimes I have to be there for 3 lights just because of the traffic. Now you're gonna add another, say 50. I don't care about the parking areas. That's fine, you covered that. But all that traffic, those people, all of those people are gonna probably have 1 or 2 cars, maybe more, coming up and down 2 exits and entrances. So it's just, the traffic is unbelievable right there. It's only gonna get worse for us. And I just don't understand how you can put that many people into 2 ways to get out. I mean, it's a big problem. Maybe not for you guys, or for them, because they sound like very nice. In fact, I've been in one of the condos and it is very nice. But all of that traffic really harms us. We've already lost our views, which is fine. That's already done. But now, we're having a hard time. We're having a hard time getting in and out of our driveways. And that traffic is just going to be so much worse. I just don't understand that you can have that many people with 2 exits and entrances. And Hector also, when people back out of his driveway, it's like you're ready to have an accident. I won't even drive up his driveway. I try to walk across and go between the fences to get to his house because it's too hard to get in and out of there. So I don't know how anybody could even possibly consider putting more cars in those 2 in that area. There should be more ways to get in and out of there. It's just crazy. And it's gotten worse over 22 years, much worse.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's pretty much covers it.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in opposition?
Yeah, my issue is, I live on
Could you
11.
please state your name,
My
sir?
name is Rico Franca,
Could you spell it?
RICA, Rico Franca, spelled exactly how it's
And your address, sir?
11 Thermos Avenue.
Thank you.
I'm the first driveway on Thermos Avenue. When you enter Thermos Avenue from Laurel Hill from the light, I'm the first driveway on your right. I lived there for 45 years. And that Thermos Avenue is a very narrow road. Some people, they're making a left turn or a right turn on Laurel Hill. They stay in the middle of the road. They don't pick a lane. You're making a right, you stay on the right side of the street. You're making a left, you stay on the left side of the street. They're in the middle of the road, and you're coming into my street. You can't go in. You can stay in Laurel Hill on Route 12, and you wait till they come out, and then you can go into your street. 45 years I stayed there, and you're building 57 units. And couples live in a 57 units, you double that, that's 114 cars coming up and down the street, which we don't have right now. 114 cars not coming into my street. And it's still very difficult to get in. And there's service trucks that's coming to that. You can go into my Thermos Avenue. That's a very narrow street. So I don't know how you're gonna address that issue. When I lived there the first 10 years, the city paved that road 3 times in 10 years. After that, they never touched it for the next 35 years. Never been paved again. So that's a lot of damage to the street. They never lined it up or sprayed. Nothing was done to the street for 45 years. That's my issue, the traffic. This is a narrow road. It's a service truck comes in here, whether it's garbage collection, post office truck. You can go 2 ways in that little street. So you're gonna put 114 cars. That's only a family with 2 cars. Family with children, with cars and everything. Now you're gonna double that number of cars coming down my street. That's my issue. That's why I oppose.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am. Could you please state your name and spell it and your address also, please?
So Robert.
Sorry, Robert Blakely. I own the property there, Blakely, BLAKELEY. I own 34 Thermos, 24 Thermos, and 34 Thermos R. I think I can concur with her. I kind of like the idea of new housing there. but I can kind of concur with them, the traffic on that road, and they're not being dramatic on how narrow it is. It's a one-way street. There's no lines, there's no nothing. If there's a car coming, you have to pull off into someone's bush or wait outside the road.
When
At
you
least,
say it's a one-way street, you don't mean it's a one-way street, you mean it's.
It's a
so
narrow-
narrow that it shouldn't be.
right now, I don't think you can fit a fire truck down it if you tried. Personally, there's some apartments that are next door. I don't know the exact number. They kind of park on the street, and like some of the, their garbage can recycling things are off, or like right there. There's no room, at least on that side of the road, the light side, to increase any traffic. That was, I can go to that for them about that. So I don't know if there would be something where the majority of the traffic would need to be directed on the opposite side, or another light put in, because there is technically a one-way in and one-way out down at, what you would say, about the south side, correct? If,
Right by JoJo.
that's the north side?
That's the north side.
All right, so I'm talking about this, yeah, okay. So I don't know if we would have to introduce like traffic lights to support that amount of cars, but, the south side, or the side near JoJo's, there, you can't fit any more cars in and out of there, not at any relative pace anyways. That intersection is pretty dangerous. I mean, people run through that light, and I've almost been hit countless times. Usually when you see the light go green, you still stop and you wait, and you hope no one's going through, because they ignore the light for some reason. There's a lot of traffic. My other concern, and I don't know if that could just be addressed with the elevation survey again. Because right now I'm 34 thermos, so 24 thermos is my front window. So sorry, 23 thermos, correct?
Did you want to look at the elevation? Is that what you-
I was just relative to the road, there's a 4-story building going into my picture window. So I was kind of curious on the height of.
Where would you be on this?
Yeah, right, yeah, he's pointing to my house right there.
Okay.
So I'm right at that corner, right at the top of Thermos. Like I said, I own multiple properties there. And I was a little bit concerned about the sight line. I already kind of have limited view of the water, and the Thames River. So that was my other concern. I guess the phase 2 buildings, height relative to that south side of Thermos. Yeah. I don't know what that height is. It looks like there's maybe a retaining wall or something that's going in there.
Because
proposed.
it's
Set down. So I would just be a little bit, I mean, I don't want to just kind of look out my front window and only see a 4-story apartment, back of a 4-story apartment building. Yeah, there's some trees there, but right now I have from a bunch of my windows, I have a, line of sight to the Thames water. So, I was just kind of curious about that height. I didn't know what it was relative to Thermos. Right there. I guess those were, do you have any other?
Sorry, my name is Amy Greenleaf.
She's my partner.
Live with Robert, GREENLEAF. So essentially, we're mirroring everybody else's concerns. Yes, the light, it sucks. Let's be real. People run it all the time. You can't get in and out. It's not wide enough. If you have somebody with a big truck and somebody else with a bigger vehicle, an SUV, good luck. Unless they move exactly over to where, JoJo's railing is right there, you gotta wait. And then that's dangerous because you got people waiting in the intersection. Like, this is already an issue that we're having. So increasing the traffic is a huge safety concern. You also have the school down there. So people do walk all the time on this road. We see it all the time. There's people walking their dogs. There's people that are walking around the school. And then now you're increasing traffic on an already very narrow road. It's definitely concerning. The noise concerns, the light concerns for us. Yeah, we'll be looking, if this goes through, we're looking right at it. And right now we have a single person, a single family home. Well, whatever, they're very pleasant. there's not a lot of light pollution, there's trees, like it's something that we can manage with. You know, there's only 2 single-family houses on this road, theirs and Roberts. And to add another, you know, big apartment complex kind of makes us concerned about what that's gonna bring to us.
Yeah, and one of the other questions I had was, what's the time frame on construction? Because I believe that's like a significant amount of terraforming, right?
The noise concerns is a big concern.
Yeah, we
I mean,
both,
the
we both
construction
kind of
and-
work from home, so I don't know if there's gonna be tractors and explosions for 2 years, or, you know, what's the construction timeline, you think?
There aren't many of us, but those of us that are there, it really does affect us, and we're important too.
But can you just state your name for
Betty Lutz.
just so they know when she does the minutes, you said that.
There aren't many of us, but we are important too.
It's a quiet neighborhood, this is Amy again.
It
It's a
was.
quiet neighborhood. It really is. It's a pleasure to be there. Being in Norwich where there is chaos all the time, all around you. And then our neighborhood is quiet. People feel safe to go out and walk their dogs, and there's kids, and you know, it's pleasant. Adding a lot of extra people there is really gonna change what we have.
Rico Frank again. I have another issue. The letter I got says you're building 2-story building. And I look at
4-story.
It is the 4 stories in there with 52 units each. 26 now. I found out 125 and 126, and there's 7 already built. 6 and then some makes it 57, right?
Well, the 6 are already existing.
Existing, 57. You know, when I lived there, Thermos factory was a factory when I lived there. So, employees traffic at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, it is heavy. Then in the middle, it slows down. Nobody can come out and in and out of my driveway. Then it became a condominium. It's not as heavy as when it was a factory, because people come in at different times and sometimes they don't even come out. So, you know, it's pretty nice, quiet. 45 years I'm in that street. And to think of 57 units with 2 cars each, 114 cars coming my way. And boy, you know, I don't know how to, that's a very heavy. I don't know how you're gonna address that. You go widen the Thermos Avenue into 2 lanes. Actually, it's a 1-lane road. You meet the post office truck, delivery truck, garbage truck, you can get in and out of that street.
Thank you. Anything else?
Can I address some of the concerns?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of things that I heard. One was
Just state your name
Yeah.
again. for
Michael
the-
Franklin
Thank you.
with River Heights Development. And if you could bring up that site plan, the original one, there you go, one of them, you know, right there. What's happening is Thermos Ave is being widened. It's being widened to a 30-foot road.
All the
So-
way?
So that from where this entrance is, where we control the land, come in here, and this is the worst part. When you come around this corner, you start going down the hill. That's where it hasn't been paved for a long time. You live
Yeah,
here.
I mean, the road's kind of iffy there, but I think the congestion is right there at the mouth.
Let me address one thing at a
Yep,
time.
sorry.
Okay. You know, so that I can have the conversation. So that this is being widened to a 30-foot road. There's also a sidewalk that's being put in. You know, I heard
Is that going all the way out to Laurel, Route 12?
it's just on the property right now. I mean, it's just within the property. We don't have any ownership or any ability to do anything going from here to Laurel Hill Road.
How far is that?
Another 75 feet, maybe, I don't know, something 100 feet, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Where you have ownership, are you saying the entire length is gonna be 30 foot?
It's going from 30 to 24 feet, be 24 feet at the, and on the upper or the north side,
The north side and here,
which matches
that's the south side.
south side, geez, I'm sorry, south side.
Okay. I mean, so this is being widened and then this is being widened and there's a sidewalk that's going all the way down the south. I mean, so I understand, the traffic. And the other thing too is that when this was already fully approved for 39 townhomes. And those 39 townhomes and what we're building now, we have the same number of bedrooms. Which is a traffic study item, is that, how you determine traffic and that type of thing. So this was fully approved with townhome buildings of 6 to 8 units coming up the hill that had the same number of bedrooms that we can. We were very conscious when we were redesigning this and going forward to be as sensitive as we could to all the circumstances that were there. And so that's that portion of it. This portion here, we don't control, and I think that's where
I've had to
the
cut
biggest
down my
problem
shed,
is.
literally, so you can see around the corner. So yeah, I don't even have access to that corner of my property. I had to literally cut down the
Which
hedge
is down here, correct? Where you're
at the light.
by the way. And then at where Thermos comes out here, it's one way going this direction. And typically the school traffic is coming in on Crown Street, dropping their kids off or picking them up at school and then coming back out here. And that has a flashing light at Thermos at that point.
And has a traffic study been done for this project?
It was done originally. We weren't part of the project at that point, not when they got their original approvals. We came in, we came in midstream on that.
But
No, they did not update it because I think what they're saying is that they mirrored the number of bedroom units that they had before. Basically to make it so that it was equal, so that they didn't feel they needed a traffic
well, we
study.
that should be added into the record if that's what you're considering your traffic study.
So, I mean, Brian actually, would have looked at that, the city engineer, so. I
Did he
think-
look at that?
I can ask him. I don't know if it's in his memo or not.
It's not. I don't know if you looked at it, but it wasn't in his comments.
Yeah, we should probably look at that. And is it possible to put that on the website so that the public can even look at it?
If we have it, do you have a copy of it?
The
The original traffic study?
I'll have to pull it out.
Well,
Yeah,
if you're
well, if we can,
considering that your traffic study, we need to have that. And so you should have that,
No, okay.
we'll find it in the files.
but you can
Maybe
find
you
it, but
want
it's
it up
really
there.
not your job
No,
to find it.
no,
It's their
it's their-
job to do
absolutely.
it. If they're using that as their traffic study.
Absolutely. Okay.
So if we
And the
can-
city can ask for an updated traffic study
Yeah,
if they
I
want, because the time frame that's passed and, since
Yeah,
the
and
original.
things have changed significantly on the roads and
Mhm.
so that the original traffic study was done what date?
Tom, do you know what that was, time frame?
19, you said.
He wasn't the engineer.
Right, but, so,
It should probably be updated.
yeah, I would like to see that updated.
Because obviously those are the biggest concerns of the neighbors, it seems like right now, so. I think a traffic study would be in everybody's best interest, at least an updated one.
Chairman, we're not going to enter anything into record tonight because we know that we're going to be continuing this public hearing to next month, to the January 17th meeting. So, Dan, did you want to go over your memo? I think you've given it to the applicant already.
Yeah, you have it. I uploaded it to the portal. So you should have gotten a notification. to it. If you,
Get a notification.
okay, I can email it to you directly,
If you can do that.
Yeah. but it's
Memo
been up
with
there.
comments and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, because we do have people that are concerned about this, would it be possible to put the plans and to put all of the communications or not, all the stuff that we're going to have into the record on the town website under,
It's there.
so all of the Well, and then. include-
Whatever,
for anything
whatever,
you didn't-
whatever you're gonna send us as a result of tonight or fixes, it'll all be there.
It will all be there, because when I went to look for it, I could not find it.
It's all there.
All right, well, you're gonna have to show me how to do that, because I couldn't figure it out.
So we could tell the public really quickly, if you go to the planning department page on our
Yeah, why don't you
website,
Do that, that'd be a good idea.
you know,
Yeah.
just so show everyone where you get to it.
Because I needed the education too myself.
Yeah.
So were you able to?
Go straight from the
I
city's
was there
website.
once
So
I
if you-
talked to Dan.
So if you
So-
go onto the city's website and
if
go
you
to
listen,
planning and neighborhood services. And then you scroll down here, it says remote meetings on the left in the blue box.
Yep, I got to that point.
Then you go to CCP.
I got there.
Then you have to find this month's meeting. So it's 12/13/2022,
Oh, way down there. Okay, that's right.
and I can't control how the folders go in.
Yeah,
You just have to find the correct date for the meeting.
okay.
And then it has the agenda, the previous minutes, all the referrals for bond releases. And then I have a separate folder for this project
So
that
it
has
everything in.
everything in here.
So. you'll be
So
able
when-
to Look at everything.
Yes.
Did you hear how he did that?
Yeah, I actually already, sorry, it's Robert again of Blakely. I've already been through most of the documents. I just didn't see the elevations. I guess relative to that north thermos. That was a big concern of mine.
Yeah, and
It's my,
we don't have them. That's why you didn't see them. So there will be a new folder that will be 01/17/2023 CCP meeting that'll have, I'll move this stuff into that as well for the next month's meeting.
plus the new, anything, you know, we get, as soon as we get anything in our office, we put it on there right away. So people don't necessarily have to come down to the office here in the building and look at it. They can actually go online and look at it conveniently.
Okay, so for tonight, are there any other comments from the public, either pro or in opposition to this application at this time? If not, then take a motion to continue this matter until the January 17th, 2023 meeting. Somebody want to make a motion?
Oh, I'll make that motion.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, sir.
is that at the same time?
Yeah, all the meetings are at 7 unless announced differently.
Happy to do that.
Yeah.
Kathy, make a motion. Ella, could you second that?
I'll second, yes.
Thank you. We have the motion in the second, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Okay, so this matter will be continued. The public hearing is still open and it will be continued until January 17th, 2023. Thank you.
Yes.
For your participation.
Michael, everything that you presented tonight, the physical copies, we have to keep those now.
So
'cause they're in
we'll
the
bring it
public
to the
record.
next public hearing. We need to hold on to the
The
public.
bullets
to
and
come-
everything.
Yep,
Yes.
everything. So just leave them here with us and then next month we'll bring them back down.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, but eventually we do need to, we need to
So
keep,
you need to keep that.
yes,
If there's a duplicate, I can take that.
yes, you can take a
Yes.
duplicate.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, I'll email that to you.
Would you?
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Dinosaur.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Tom, you were involved?
Dinosaur.
Can you give that to, your name, sir, was Kroll? Kroll, yeah, he wants to.
Enter
submit a
something
letter.
in the record. Okay, we'll read it next month since you didn't read it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thanks.
thought he heard you.
No,
Thank you. Even though you got a Coast Guard hat on.
all right. That's what to do.
Want
to bring your-
I'm Navy.
Oh.
I'm just gonna wait for them to make their way out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
gentlemen.
So we didn't hear from Michael.
Have a nice
Lickman.
Okay, so that being said, we have another matter on the agenda. It's a referral from the Norwich City Council regarding an ordinance relative to the abatement of taxes and reduction of building permit fees for South Mill at Panema, AKA 555 and 575 Norwich Avenue. Do we have a copy of the
Yeah, so this,
ordinance referral here?
yep, this is the referral.
I have a question. Why do we have to review this?
You know,
You don't know?
it's because Mike Driscoll wants it. I don't know. It's just,
It's
they
a
always,
reduction of,
they always send these tax
Taxes.
abatement referrals to the CCD. It's a policy. I don't know if it's in
I
the
think it's
charter.
in the charter somewhere.
Yes, yeah,
so
so,
that we have to review tax abatement?
so I think it's, in this particular case, I will tell you that the tax abatement is supported in the plan of conservation and development in two different places. We talk about the redevelopment and economic development for encouraging the redevelopment of the existing mill buildings.
Oh,
And to
okay.
seek
So
ways
it's
to minimize,
For the mills.
yeah, and to seek ways to minimize code compliance issues.
Mm.
And so in the redevelopment, so. But this is for the South Mill project that the Commission on the City Plan did approve. This is the buildings that is going to house the apartment units and the restaurant out in the front. If you remember, it's just south of the lofts, the lofts.
The large building. that's
Yes,
completed,
what
yeah.
do they call it? Lofts of Panema, I think,
Yeah.
yes. So they are seeking an abatement of taxes through the mill enhancement, but they are also asking for a reduction in the building permit fees. Just as a reminder, in the past, that the building permit fees for Panema prior to my time of working here in Dan, they were waived. The building permit fees were waived completely for the North Mill. So we have negotiated back and forth on this and have come to a building permit fee of $100,000 to the city. We are hiring a part-time inspector at the cost of about $52,000 to inspect there for the time that the period, of the period of length of construction. And then, but they are hiring their own plan reviewer, so we don't have to review all those, the plans for the building officials. They'll obviously have the technical assistance that they'll have to provide by code compliance. So some of the things, the cost of the plan review is very expensive if we had to hire someone to do this for our staff because it's such a large complex. So they're taking care of that cost, which is somewhat significant, but
Just the cost for the review.
the plan review
But-
and then $100,000 building permit fee they're
But what-
providing to the city.
We're hiring someone to do the review.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna hire the person to do it. We're gonna
Alright,
approve the
somebody
person.
doing an inspection.
Yes, so they're hiring a plan reviewer and we're gonna approve that plan reviewer. That they're hiring and paying for the plan review.
So it's
We're
not gonna be,
It's not our staff that's going to be doing the plan
Okay.
review for the building
Okay.
code. But the inspector is going to be we have a temporary building official that works for us now, Earl Dean, that we're going to keep on. He's been training our building compliance techs to get them ready to become assistant building officials. We're gonna keep him on for the time of the project going on, and we think it's gonna cost us about $52,000. So there is about $48,000. So basically, if you think of it that way, that's what will get us a building permit fee. Normally it would be several $100,000, but compared to previously, we had zero, we got nothing, and we had to still provide all those plan review and everything and the costs for inspectors. So this is a better deal. It was agreed upon. I'm comfortable with that, at least having some of those things taken care of. But the fees they're very expensive, to redevelop these mills, and so
Yeah,
that's
I don't
why.
have a problem.
So if you're looking to support this and send a favorable recommendation, I would recommend that you look at in our economic development, that we support the redevelopment of the existing mills and also preservation of historic structures as assets to the community, and that's under capitalizing on our historic assets. Okay.
You making a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send a favorable recommendation based on what Deanna said, and
Right. And Ella, would you like to second that motion?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
All right, we have the motion and a second to send a favorable recommendation on the ordinance to the city council.
Shortly.
for the reasons stated on the record. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that referral passes unanimously and goes to the city council.
Thank you. And I'll have you sign that once I write it up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And then we have
Hold
bond
on.
reduction release requests regarding Westledge.
And sheltering arms, so,
Sheltering Arms.
yep, so we have two of these, the first one's for this, 2 West Ledge bond release. The project is basically done at this point, we're holding 113,000, 3 checks totaling 35. At this time, 35,580, and then 148,960. Yeah. So they took total, we'll have 148,960. They are comfortable, the zoning enforcement officer and the city engineer releasing the bonds. They're done with all the site work. They have the erosion.
And
set
the-
control.
did we get a letter from the engineer?
Yes, I think we got an email from
Email.
him, email from
And he
him.
recommended
The
releasing
release of the
it?
bond, yep, and then Rich just made sure, so we are comfortable of releasing the bonds for the erosion and sediment control for West Ledge. If I can get a motion on that.
Somebody want to make a motion for release of that bond?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
And then a second by Kathy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the bond on West Ledge.
Yeah.
Shall be released.
Yeah. The next one is Sheltering Arms, the project that they redid their parking lot. I don't know if you remember that. And reconfigured, did some landscaping there, and they have completed that probably in the fall, kind of, would you say, it was done. The plantings in it, they did a good job. It looks nice, and both the city engineer and they did some drainage upgrades. I think their city engineer and zoning are both still satisfied, and they can release that bond as well. So I need a bond release motion on that.
You want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion
And I'll second.
second by Ella. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously also.
Okay. Next.
Do we have the POCD update?
Just a quick one for you. Dan and I have been, we're still, the end of the month is when our survey will be closed.
Correct.
We've had 2 data decks so far given to us. I think we went over the first data deck of different sections of the POCD and its demographic information, things like that. So we've updated, may have to make changes. We went over it with our POCD at our POCD meeting. And then they've sent us the second data deck, which Dan and I have not looked through together. Some of the things we need information from other people on, like the historic assets. I want to send that to Regan to look at. There's a few people that I need to send things, and what they do with this data deck is it's kind of like the tool that they use that we're going to use to create the POCD.
Right.
So it's like it's basic information and photos and things, but really, you know,
Transportation, facilities, data. We're gonna meet with different departments as a result of the second deck.
What's our timeline on that? When do we actually?
it's
have
due
that?
by August of 2023. I think Dan feels that we're in a good place right now. I get nervous. I'm always nervous about stuff but in our consultants, of course, they're ahead of us, but that's all they're necessarily working on. You know, that's what they
So
do,
the
you know?
consultants are,
Yeah, so they're like kind of ahead of us, like we're, you know, so we're trying to get that done on top of everything else to give our comments back to them. But some of our comments, we need to get input from other people. Like there
Right.
was some economic development questions that
Housing.
and housing that, you know, we just got some housing answers back from the housing authority because they wanted their information on stuff. And I'm waiting for Kevin to give me information for economic development on some of economic drivers in the region and
Right.
things like that. So we're working on it, and they're working patiently with us on
Yeah.
it. So I think Dan feels that like I said, I'm going with him because he's much.
We're
calmer
in
on
a
this.
good space. This isn't the best month of the year for,
No,
You
it's
know.
not a good month for it.
yeah.
To try to do this, but I think once
Well,
the
that's
year,
great.
once we get back in January, we're gonna then start some of these things, like I said. We have to have the meetings with these
Right.
departments, and we also want to meet with the tribe. There's, we have our stakeholders list, there's certain people we really want to meet with, so. And we'll be doing that on top of everything else.
Yep.
So, staff report, I guess what I'll just say is, we're busy POCD stuff, we're just getting our budget, I just got my budget in. We're working on, so much stuff. And COG is asking us for information on open space. And so we're busy with that. We're busy with, I can't even think. There's so many things. It's just, we're just overwhelmed. Our office is a lot on grant writing, where there's a couple grants that the city wants to go for, the CIF 2030 grants, community investment funds that we're eligible for as a kind of distressed community that not everyone is eligible for. It's millions and millions of dollars. We need to put a lot of efforts into that, and helping with some of the grant writing and just kind of facilitating what's going on in that. What else are we doing?
Just applications, things like tonight,
Yeah.
wetlands violations.
A lot of
Any
violations
wetlands
lately. It
violations.
just seems like it's a lot of people just go out there doing willy-nilly whatever they want. It's kind of crazy, and working with our admin staff, our new staff that hasn't got through their probationary period. There's a lot of hand holding going on right now.
Anything going on with the Burger King property?
Nothing. I haven't heard anything since they were gonna put it on the market like
Oh, so
like a
they're
year
not
and a
gonna
half.
do Burger King?
Oh, so what happened was,
We're being-
well, I wouldn't say they're not, I don't know what they say they wouldn't do it. What they were doing was the guy who
The people
owns
that
all the
were
Burger
gonna do it
King
are not.
or not, what they decide, they're selling all of their Burger Kings,
Yeah.
all of their restaurant holdings. And that was probably a year ago in the spring. It's
Yeah.
been like
Oh.
a year and a half now. And they said, so they were gonna sell it with the approval, like sell, not just that one, but all of their sites.
Right.
We don't know what happened with that. They didn't have an answer, and every once in a while I check in with them.
But if they
So-
sell it, is the applicant, well, the applicant.
It's still good for 5 years, so,
And do they have a bond posted? Because you would have to get a new bond.
no, they never posted one, 'cause they didn't do any
They
site
never
work
got-
yet. They never got that far. They
had
just did the,
archaeological
that's right,
stuff.
that's all they
But
did.
then if they sell it, whoever buys it has to post.
Oh,
bond
yeah.
Before they start it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
but no, but we don't know if they're gonna ever even meet the deadline. Who knows what's gonna happen? And so I haven't really chased that one. Hale Mill, I spoke with them very recently. The cost of everything just went skyrocketed. So they, it looks like now January or February before they start the interior. And we did a lot of site work out there. But they just have not started the interior.
You know anything about the Johnson home?
Johnson, I know that's a heartbreak. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
It still looks like it's occupied. I thought they said everybody was gonna be out by December 8th. But there's still people in there.
But what's interesting, because they just issued some new, I thought I saw somewhere, new historic grants that could, for buildings to historic buildings, and what they need is some elevators and things in
Well,
there.
there are elevators.
Was it elevators? What was it? There was some other code compliance things that were
Maybe
going.
they don't like the elevator. It's a
Yeah.
tiny elevator.
Oh,
But I
that's-
get in there and my.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it is, but there was some code compliance things, and that's why, I guess, what I read, I'm sure you read the same thing, was
Yeah.
it was gonna be taken over, and but they could not.
They're working on it.
There were only 8 people living there.
Right.
That's.
Yeah, I think
such
there's
a-
only a total of 13 rooms altogether.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
I
too
mean,
bad.
I could see how it can't be financially
Yeah.
viable. with
Yeah,
those
so
that-
that's why I was wondering. if
I don't know,
anybody
and
is
that thing is,
Selling it or.
and I don't know if they
Maybe
can,
get-
because I know there's all those kind of deed restrictions, how it was passed down and given, so who knows what those ties are,
Oh,
it
yeah.
can be, what it can be turned
Well, I
into,
mean,
you
that's-
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Such a beautiful location for one thing.
It
right in the
is.
Green,
It,
and a
it's
historic
amazing,
location.
it's beautiful and historic, yeah, I know.
I think
And we really
we
do.
really need to watch that and make sure something
Mhm.
positive happens.
I'm gonna contact, I haven't been in contact again recently, but I'm gonna be back talking about historic.
To an empty lot or.
No, right.
No, but talking about historic buildings, I need to be back in touch with Preservation Connecticut and SHPO about the Cassidy House, on Washington.
What's going on with that?
We own it.
The town owns it?
Yeah, the city,
Did you know?
the city owns it.
No,
We took possession for back taxes probably a year ago. And it's a mess, and we had at least, the Public Works went in and cleaned out a lot of stuff in it, 'cause it's just a bad, but there's like really bad leaks in the roof, there's all kinds of stuff, it's in really bad shape, but there's some still beautiful things about it.
Yeah.
And, but, we went out for RFP for basically, like, if you had experience for doing preservation, we would give it to your dollar, as long as you commit to doing it historically accurate, we had different criteria.
And nobody.
Nobody,
Are
and
you
the,
kidding?
and the people that contacted us were people who are not good landowners in the city that
Oh.
owe taxes, that was gonna be another slum, and we're like, no, we're not doing that.
Too bad
What
we
about
can't
the,
get someone to do a short-term rental kind of thing there because they're so viable in this region.
It's just so much work,
A lot
Kathy,
to get that.
so much to,
Yeah, but they make so much money on that.
I forget the name of the place I should have. Downtown on, Main Street,
The why,
not the Y, that too.
oh, the,
Read and use.
the,
Reading news.
Yeah.
what's
the
going on
Read and
there?
Use, that one, they closed. I think the new owner closed, which is the owner of the Warrigan bought that building, and he's gonna do those units, but
But he
just
hasn't submitted any plans or.
no, because don't forget, they got approved with the Women's Institute before us. They never paid for their plans from the engineer and architect on those. So they're not turning anything over, the Mylars or anything over until that they get paid.
Right.
So there's some of
Is
that
that the
stuff.
same plan that they want to do though?
Kind of, yeah, I think so. I think so,
So they
but
are
again,
Labs.
yeah, so they are working still with Krosky, so that's good. But YMCA, we're seeking funds, we didn't get the EPA money that we wanted to, or so DECD gave us $2 million for the community investment for that property. But
What
said
happens
don't,
with Matter?
well, I said Mattern was with our agreement with Mattern, we got $2 million. But they said to us, they weren't gonna give us any more money for cleanup. They said, if you got $2 million, you can use that for cleanup. But that money was really for the development costs, not for the cleanup and remediation. So we've been trying to work to get grant funds and loan funds through EPA, kind of through a different way. EPA had given money to Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments and to CROG, the capital region, who had supposedly extra money that they weren't spending. So we've been applying out of our region to get monies, and it's been very difficult, but.
But they don't have a lot of
Do we
money.
still-
No, they've got millions, Kathy.
The
Naugatuck
EPA
Valley,
No, EPA. They
EPA,
only give like $200,000 at a
no,
time.
they gave the last bit to Naugatuck Valley. Don't quote me on this in the minute. I think was $3 million for them to do assessments and remediation, and they haven't spent it. And then they're saying, they go, I don't know why they're not doing it. So it's very frustrating. So we've been banging
Do
our
we
head.
still want it, or does Matter know what to do?
We haven't turned it over because they don't want to turn it over until we can get the money to clean it up, because they don't get as much money as a private entity as if we do as a municipality to get the cleanup money. So we're trying to get that. So it's been very frustrating, and DECD is pushing us to use the $2 million that we got from them for development, but we don't want to use that $2 million for cleanup
So
because
what was the 2 million supposed to be for?
it was sort of just kind of to a development.
To build it.
To
Yeah.
build it.
To
And they-
build it, to
yep,
renovate it.
to renovate it, but what they said was, you could use it for cleanup, but don't come back to the pot and ask us for more. They basically said, don't reapply for
How much are
brownfield.
the cleanup costs? Yeah.
We need about $850,000 to do it.
Oh, 850.
Mhm.
And how much are the development costs?
What's the project of? It's pretty big.
that was a couple million.
Yeah,
Right.
4 million, was it?
I
Something
think.
it's like 4 million. It's
So
like, they
if
have a
it's 2
chunk.
million out there already, I think it's 2 million to balance, it, right?
Yeah, but there's, Mattern has, they have skin in the game too,
That's what I'm saying, if Mattern's gonna own it,
But Mattern doesn't want to do $4 million worth of work, I mean, they,
that's 2 million.
yeah, but it's still too much. They still need, 2 million is, to renovate it is too much. I think we still need, if we can get the brownfields money to clean up, I think it makes it, I think at 850, it kind of helps, but I don't know. That's been a lot of effort. Like I said, these things that aren't on paper that we spend like so much
Days.
time chasing, if you don't want,
Hmm.
and,
I know,
you
I'm there with you, so, yeah, it's a lot.
yeah. Deanna, get an update, General. So Melinda, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm right here.
Under staff report, are you still staying on as our clerk?
Well,
Well, if you can't, that's okay, but we're still looking for the POCD minutes from you for the last meeting.
last POCD.
Yep. So I need those. The clerk's office has been chasing us down for those. But yeah, let us know, because if you don't want to clerk, we just need to know, because we just, I want to get somebody on board. We love you clerking, but we understand your position.
Thank you.
And I just have to say one thing, I did not recognize you, when I was in Hartford the other day. who is that? And then it dawned on me when Sean said, it's Melinda. I said, oh yeah, now I
And she got a
remember.
big wig job. She's. a
Yeah, I
big-
know. Congratulations.
So we're not complaining about DEC.
Thank you.
Sorry, we don't mean to become, I don't want you to think we're complaining. We're, just saying they're pushing us to spend the money, which makes sense, but we're trying to get something else done first,
I do think that we should chat about Community Investment Fund, Deanna.
All right, we will.
All right,
Sounds
thanks.
Anything else?
good. No, I'm tired.
No. I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
I make that motion.
8:30.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to adjourn, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
And,
Happy holidays, Merry
Yeah,
Christmas
happy holidays.
and everything else, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
We are there and saying Merry wishes.
I just have to say, please, can we get the agenda earlier?
We will try our.